Well, the U.S. president made the announcement about the emergency port in Gaza as part of his State of the Union address. It was a fiery speech delivered by Joe Biden, and it's his last State of the Union before November's election. Indeed, it often sounded more like a re-election campaign rally than the typical address, which relies heavily on pageantry and policy. Biden took repeated swipes at Donald Trump, who 13 times he referred to simply as, quote, my predecessor. Here to help us through the analysis of his speech is our foreign editor and former White House correspondent, Kethevane Gorjestani. Hello to you, Kethevane. Joe Biden, he came out swinging. How many of those blows did he actually land? What did you make of his performance?
It was actually a very strong performance by Joe Biden. And people who were watching the State of the Union were watching it as much for what he was going to say as and maybe even more for how he was going to deliver that speech. And if you're a Democrat and you were watching that speech, you probably had a sigh of relief by the end of that hour-plus speech, because while the Republicans were hoping for Sleepy Joe to show up, makes fumbles, misspeaks sometimes, you got Fiery Joe, who came out. He was energetic. He was angry at times, joking at times. He sparred with the Republican hecklers in Congress. He made no real fumbles, and he really showed that he was fit for the job. And that was really one of the big things about this speech. He spoke, as I said, for more than an hour, and then he spent about 25 minutes on the floor speaking to all of these lawmakers, to some of the guests, really showing that he does have the stamina, and that, at least for now in the short term, might alleviate a little bit of the concerns about his age. As for the message, it was really as much about policy, about his achievements and what he wants to do for the United States, as a sort of contrast between him and, as you said, his predecessor that he never named, Donald Trump. He really took swipes at him, took swipes at the Republicans, for example, on immigration, accusing them of bowing to Trump's pressure to block that legislation for immigration reform. He attacked Donald Trump on January 6th on bowing to Putin. So it was really a fiery speech, really offensive in the way of like going on the offense for Joe Biden. And it's something that many of his supporters are hoping he's going to keep up going towards November.
And American voters, for them, probably the most important issue is immigration, the economy, the state of democracy. But Joe Biden did address some significant foreign policy issues, didn't he? What did he say?
Yes, there were some key foreign policy issues, and there were pretty much two foreign policy issues: Ukraine and the war in Gaza. And there was a symbolic way of showing that, which was that in the First Lady's box, there are always some guests of honor, and one of them was the Prime Minister of Sweden that has just officially joined NATO, and that was a clear message sent to Vladimir Putin, also a clear message to Donald Trump, who, remember, just a couple of weeks ago said that not only would he not defend NATO allies in case of an invasion by Russia, but he would tell the Russian president to do whatever the heck he wants with those NATO allies. So this was a sign of Joe Biden's staunch support for NATO and for Ukraine. He called again those Republicans to pass that aid for the Ukrainians. There was also a really big part of it that was a message on the war in Gaza, because, of course, this is one key issue for Joe Biden that could potentially cost him the election, is the growing anger among progressives, among younger voters, about his support for Israel when it comes to how Israel is operating in Gaza. So he had some messages for them, but you could see in some of the images that we played, there were some of those progressive Democrats who were there, who were attending, but they had those signs, lasting ceasefire now. They had really called Joe Biden to do something about this. And the question is, did he sort of sway them? And it doesn't really look like they got the answers that they actually wanted.